than the graduates. I have been with many of them since my very first year here in pre-K 3, and I have always looked up to them. To begin our evening, we will hear speeches from our 8th graders. Every 8th grade student wrote a speech about a skill or value that has been important to them during their time at Lakeland Montessori, and some of them have chosen to present their speeches to all of you this evening. Please welcome our first 8th grader, Amin Al-Matar, who will be giving a speech about the importance of being social and outgoing.
Thank you. Before I begin, I'd like to thank everybody at Lakeland Montessori for supporting me throughout my journey from kindergarten to middle school. As we move forwards into the next stages of our lives, I'd like to take a moment to look back upon some of the greatest lessons I've learned throughout my time at LMS. In my opinion, the best thing about the Montessori learning environment is that you not only get an outstanding educational experience, but you can be yourself and create amazing bonds with everybody. Throughout my time at Lakeland Montessori, I've made so many bonds, more than I can count, through taking the first step and being courageous to get to know others and stepping out of my comfort zone. And I've also regularly gone out into the community and created memories through volunteering to become social and outgoing. Being social and outgoing is no small thing. It's a way of thinking. It's when you go out of your way to bond and help others out of kindness. A person with these values is someone who doesn't shy away from welcoming others, is trustworthy, and always looks to help. As Maya Angelou, a civil rights activist, once said, embrace every opportunity to connect, for it is through our social interactions that we weave the tapestry of our lives. An example of this is during this year, me and the class had a debate about which pizza chain was better, Domino's or Little Caesars. This started as something small, but has turned into something I was able to connect with classmates and teachers alike about. Being social and outgoing is about the small moments where you bond over things with others. This could have been a small moment, but I incorporated it into my work and found joy with others. This exemplifies socialization. Nobody is truly social and outgoing. It's a way of thinking that you strive to achieve. Being truly outgoing is something that makes you appreciate the things around you more and value everything you are given. I like to think of it as rising from the depths. This may sound like some dark necromancer's entrance, but for me, I think it symbolizes a person rising above their social fears and becoming somebody outgoing who encourages socializing with others. For me, a good example of this is the many small moments when I went out of my way to help others. This could be from helping a 2nd grader carry a snack bag or to helping classmates with their work. And a quote that puts this well was said by Henry J.M. Newen. Hospitality means primarily the creation of free space where the stranger can enter and become a friend. While people may think that being social and outgoing is mainly focused on others, it plays a big role in your own mindset. For example, even though helping that 2nd grader carry a snack bag didn't sound too crazy, on the inside I was jumping with joy because of those little actions and moments that help a person's confidence a lot. Aside from confidence, improving my socialization has also led me to feel more productive and proactive throughout the day. Instead of using my magic procrastination powers all day, now I overrule it with a drive to complete my work well and on time. Overall, being social and outgoing also gives me a sense of accomplishment and pride and makes me proud of what I've done and only appreciate what I've done and also others. Being social and outgoing is one of the most important traits to have in life, since in order to enjoy all the little things, someone must take time to appreciate all they have been given to truly understand its value. I believe that all people should be treated with hospitality, whether they be friends or a random person. Nobody can be perfect, but I always strive to welcome everyone with hospitality because that is what I would want. I am forever grateful that I've been given the opportunity to learn at Lakeland Montessori with all the great teachers and role models that have helped me grow since kindergarten. As we progress into the next chapter of our lives, I hope that all my peers will learn from the lesson of hospitality and continue to welcome others. I will never forget what I've learned here at Lakeland Montessori, and the lessons I have learned will serve me later in life. And before I end this, I have 2 acknowledgments. One to my mother for always supporting me throughout my time at Lakeland Montessori, and to my father for helping me no matter what happens. And once more, thank you.
Thank you, Amin, for that wonderful speech. You really are outgoing. Next up, we will hear from Pleidia Stein, who was the MC last year and wrote her speech about unspoken rules.
Hi, I'm Pleidia. I've grown up in a big family. I'm the youngest of 4 with 3 nieces, 2 nephews, and more cousins than I can count. Something I've had to learn from a very young age, growing up in a large family with even larger age gaps, is unspoken rules. Unspoken rules are everywhere and need to be followed. They can lead to better connection between colleagues, says a study done by collegestate.edu. I have learned that unspoken rules aren't always set in stone either. You oftentimes have to read the room more as relationships grow and flourish to understand if and when the rules are changing. I grew up in a sizable family, but I also grew up pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I wasn't even in a city or town, though I was in a mailing district. It's safe to say that before school, I didn't really interact with other people, much less people my age. When I did get to the age of school, I came to Lakeland Montessori in the Willow classroom in pre-K 3. My eldest sister, Ayla, at the time was a waitress and had the last name of Cookstein. When I was little, I thought that meant she was a chef. The only thing I really knew about school at the time was college, and I thought I was in it. In the pre-K to kindergarten classrooms, they have works you can do with beans and bowls and other things that look like food and something little 3-year-old Pleidia considered chef material. As I said earlier, I had no idea what social cues or unspoken rules were. I thought I was in culinary school, and I thought I was a chef, and I thought a chef was a waitress. So I went to the practical life section, picked up some bowls with beans, carried them on my hands like a server at a restaurant, and set them down in front of Hannah Blair. My teacher at the time, Miss Patel, later known as Miss Bonner, scolded me shortly after for disturbing other students, and I remember crying because I didn't know what I had done wrong, though it's safe to say I learned pretty quickly after. This is when I learned This is when I first learned the unspoken rule, exactly what school is. I'm not at school to learn how to be like my sister or be a waitress, but rather to learn and grow myself. This wasn't my first time learning about unspoken rules, though, especially not in my early years. As I said, I never had chances to grow my knowledge on people and social dynamics. I knew what was wrong and what was right from my parents' rules, though they were very loose. In their book, they would only stop me from doing something if it would seriously hurt me or others. And because of this, they had to keep a very close eye on me. However, in a class full of children, probably finding out what they could do as well, the teachers couldn't monitor me as closely as my parents. I hadn't quite connected the dots that climbing the fence was not a good idea until it happened a few times. I would attempt to climb the fence, I would fall and get hurt, I'd get in trouble and have some of my freedom revoked. Soon I connected the dots that if I did something wrong, I would get talked to and have some privileges taken away. The unspoken rule I learned here is that my actions will always have consequences. As I got older, unspoken rules started to change. They shifted from if you jump the fence, you'll get in trouble to if you don't control your attitude, you'll get sent home. Though not all shifts are bad. When I was 4, I met my longest and closest friend. Despite Stacy being 4 years older than me, we became fast friends. The thing about friendships is they basically revolve around unspoken rules. Especially in the beginning, because you don't exactly want to say, hey, I've only known you for a few months and don't want you to sleep over because I still don't know how much I like you and it would be awkward. So instead, you have to read social cues and understand when they're hinting at something, though things could still change quickly, making you want to watch the rapids. Watch the rapids is a saying I grew up hearing. It refers to when you're kayaking down river rapids and you have to constantly keep your eyes in front of and to the sides of you, but never behind. The reason for this is because rapids can change drastically from shallow to deep and dangerous to calm. So you always have to have a keen eye. In relationships, things can also change drastically, and if you don't have good communication skills, you have to rely fully on unspoken rules and reading the room. You need to look ahead and around you so you can decipher if something's the matter. If you just look at how you're paddling, then you might miss it. I guess really the best advice I could give is to not only watch the rapids with your brain, but also your emotions. Even if you can't see where someone is coming from, you have to understand that they are not you. They could have so much going on in their life that could snap you in half, and yet they keep going. If you don't read the room, you could think someone was crying over getting an answer wrong, and that could have just been a speck of dust that caused a truckload of emotions that had piled up to spill out. I'd really like to thank my mom for teaching that, and my dad for teaching me the patience I use daily. I'd like to thank my past friends that couldn't attend tonight because though we may not talk anymore, the things you have taught me are still on a sticky note inside of my brain. I'd also like to thank my teachers through all grades, because I know I wasn't the most agreeable or easy child, still not to this day. And most of all, my brother, because I can't count the amount of times I've kept him up late at night, either from homework or just needing emotional support. He has taught me so much from street smarts, just how to sit and listen. In the end, unspoken rules aren't always just about others, but about yourself as well. You can't know what's happening with others if you don't know what's happening with yourself. You have to find ways to communicate these rules. Just because they're unspoken doesn't mean they're not hinted at. You also have to think about your own rules, the lines you don't cross, the morals you've built, and most of all, the people you don't want to lose. My mom always told me the closest, most loyal people in your life you can count on one hand, and through my years at the school, I think I've learned how to decipher them. I know that there are still so many unspoken rules I could write, and even more I don't know. I'm looking forward to high school because I know there will be so much more my current mind can fathom. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Pladia, for that amazing speech. You have always detected the unspoken rules beneath the spoken. And now we will hear from William Phillips for a speech about empathy.
Just thank you all for being here. I know this is a big moment for a lot of families, and it means a lot being here. So what is empathy? To me, empathy is the ability to emotionally connect with people through indescribable experiences. Empathy is possibly the most important that you'll have habit that you'll carry with you through life. Every interaction in life is made special via empathy and connections. Although it's just like all important things, it takes time and hard work to develop. Through Montessori schools like ours, I've been provided with so many opportunities to deepen my connections and practice empathy that I'm sure will last me a lifetime. I'm truly grateful to this school and its teachers for teaching me not just as a student, but as well as an individual. To most people, empathy is a vague skill to understand who people are at their core and read their emotions. However, I feel the opposite couldn't be more true. In the case of empathy, it is actually possibly taught and learned, and is not vague, but can be grown. Montessori schools like ours want to see students grow as individuals and learn new skills. Intercession weeks are opportunities that allow effort that you put into relationships to be returned tenfold. In years past, Camp-Coterie has allowed me to see how people really are and share a deeper side that they may not be easily open to share. At Camp-Coterie, I've learned so many things about other students via empathetic discussions, and I'm hopeful that a lower-classmen will experience camp as meaningfully as I have. But you don't have to go on a vacation to connect with people via empathy. Some of the most deepening experiences can happen in class. All of us can easily be overcome by stress and difficult feelings while in class. During classes, it's not uncommon to feel lots of emotions, and sometimes these emotions aren't shared because of the setting. But I speak from personal experience when I say that finding people who are experiencing the same things as you are and sharing can help remove this feeling of stress. If someone is experiencing a difficult time, always intervene and ask how they are. Sometimes it can end up being as meaningful as it is to you and them. Being in this school for 8 years has helped me grow classes, friendships that are of the highest quality. However, it's important to understand that it's important to understand how to properly use empathy and that you will always be prepared because you have no clue what someone else will say. No one is 100% in control of emotions always, and if you want to practice empathy, you'll always have to make an effort to be available. Sometimes practicing empathy can be stressful, leading to your own emotions being influenced in return. These feelings of empathy have always pushed forward and lead by example. If you're still wondering how to grow empathetically, this is my advice. Empathy has 3 key concepts to expand on. Seek to understand and not relate. Always be empathetic and respect boundaries. Firstly, as natural as it may seem to want to relate to a person, honestly, they may just need someone to understand them. And a key ingredient in practicing empathy isn't relating to the person by sharing your own experiences, but instead not understanding them and still wanting to support. Next is always being empathetic. Now, it will be difficult to be empathetic towards people who don't seem to care, but it is best to teach and lead by example and show them the benefits of being nice to each other no matter how you feel. Finally, my last piece of advice is to take time allowing people to open up to you. Everyone has a different threshold of what they want to share, and it's important to understand. So to all my future 8th graders, never turn your back on someone else who needs you. Thank you.
Thank you, William, for all your empathy that you have brought to our class. Our next 8th grade speech of the night is from McKenna McCavra, who wrote her speech about friendship.
My heart is racing. Friendship Friendship is something I've always known, whether it's making your first friend in a primary school or caring for others. Today I will bring to an end of my last year of education in this school. One thing that I have noticed through the years how social the school is. Lakeland Montessori has always followed the procedures of keeping kids safe, but not only physically, but also emotionally. Lakeland Montessori has built an emotional environment for kids to feel safe learning in, and has given us students the opportunity to make long-lasting friendships. What I learned from my past experience is that friendship can help you in numerous ways. Today I'll explore the meaning, importance, and benefits of friendship. To be standing here today reflecting on my friendships at Lakeland Montessori, it has been an honor to remember all the positive allies that helped me become who I am today. Friendship is a meaningful social part of life that we partake in to learn more about someone. If I backtrack, I remember how scary it was on my first day of school. I was scared, afraid, and fearful. Lakeland Montessori taught me that this school wasn't going to be an ordinary school, that this school was going to be a school where you can get to know all your peers. I soon realized that I wasn't scared that much anymore because I would see these students every day of the school year. I learned to grow with these people sitting in the chairs beside me and learn that friendship has always followed. And that's why I'd like to acknowledge Miss Garcia and Miss Martinez for being my first friends. And when I think of friendship, I think of mutual unconditional love. That is very important to me. Having a friend that always has your back allows you to trust one another. Friendship is important because it builds connections with people who share the same values and interests. From 1st grade to 6th grade, I learned how important friendship can be. Friendship helps us conquer challenges using synergy. Synergy is when you can make something greater than imagined by working together. By using synergy, I learned that a project could have a better result with many ideas of others. I think of my memories of all working together in a school play for the Multicultural Festival. I learned to overcome stage fright in those years. Performing at the Multicultural Festival was a big milestone for me, and I'd like to acknowledge all the teachers for directing in the dances and performances. Ms. Moss for encouraging me to play a big role in the school play, and Mr. Leckie for directing the really fun dances we had to perform. I am so thankful for the friendships and connections that I've been able to make through these experiences. Friendship can benefit you by celebrating good times or providing support for bad times. I learned that throughout my years of 7th and 8th, middle school has been the most exciting and challenging years I've ever been to at Lakeland Montessori. We learned about the 7 habits of highly effective teens. One of them was a relationship bank account. There will be withdrawals as well as deposits, and I'd like to acknowledge Ms. Sines for teaching me the deposits and withdrawals of my relationship bank account. Ms. Sines has always been there when I need to talk, and she's helped me stay focused on goals. I'd also like to acknowledge the other teacher in the room, Miss Adams, and her adorable baby, Evelyn, for comforting me while I was having bad days. To conclude, friendship can follow you, pre-K through 8th grade. Lakeland Montessori has pushed me to make good choices and decisions. For my final acknowledgement, I would like to acknowledge Miss Monroe for including me into this school for the continuous 11 years in which I have had the opportunity to build friendships. Throughout my school years, I've made long-lasting friends that I will soon see in high school. As a quote by Henry Ford said, "My best friend is the one who brings out the best in me." Thank you, Lakeland Montessori, for bringing out the best in me. I hope to seize the opportunity of friendships as I step into the world of high school. Thank you.
Thank you, McKenna. We will truly miss your friendship in this classroom. Next, we will hear a speech from Estelle Garcia about caring.
Good evening, parents, students, and teachers of Lakeland Montessori. My name is Estelle Garcia, and in my 7 years of being here, I've seen many students grow and change. One of the most important values I've seen students grow into is caring. Caring is an important part of our lives. It is often what builds us as human beings. Caring can be as little as a smile, asking how someone's day was, or as big as helping someone through an illness. To some, caring may be a currency that can be exchanged for something else along the line, but to me, it will always be a key that allows us to have a better understanding and closer relationships with others. Caring allows us to have a better understanding with those we help. According to Gene Watson's theory of caring, humans cannot be treated as objects, and humans cannot be separated from the self, others, nature, and or the larger force. We as humans are originally tribal creatures, and we're pretty much always with another person. Another wonderful quote from Gene Watson is, caring begins with being present, open to compassion, mercy, gentleness, loving kindness, and equanimity towards and with the self before one can offer compassionate care to others. This quote talks about how you must first be open to others' care of yourself before you can thoroughly care for others. By caring for someone, you can not only understand them better, but create a lasting bond between you. A way for us to create lasting relationships is to take care of ourselves and others, even if we don't know them. Some of my closest friends were made simply because I cared about them, even when I didn't know them, or close with them. My friends have always supported me, and I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to them. I have always made friendships, albeit brief, in random places. I have also made friendships, albeit brief, in random places like parks. One of the easiest to recall moments of this for me was when I found a girl stuck in a tube at Urban Air. After I had helped her out, I went to leave the area, but she began to follow me. Together we went to the trampolines, and she told me how others had seen her stuck in the tube and had passed by her and found alternative ways to get around her. I met a nice friend in that young girl that day, and what she told me stuck with me, and since then I have tried my best to help others around me. In our lives, caring for others is like a candle, a light in the darkness. It will illuminate what good there is in the world, driving away the darkness that threatens to encroach upon our lives. When the light from your candle goes out or fades, leaving you to be devoured by the shadows of darkness, another's candle can help relight your flame, so that you may once again burn away the shadows of despair. As I stand up here today, I issue you a challenge. As you move on to the next chapter of your life, nurture your candle. Care for it and help others light their candles. Perhaps they will think fondly of the light and warmth you provided them when they were stuck in that darkness, and maybe that help will inspire them, and they will pass their light on to others, and we can drive the gloom of sorrow out of our lives together. The road to change is a domino effect. You can be the one to start it. Thank you.
Thank you, Estelle, for the caring you have shown everyone at Lakeland Montessori. Last but not least, we will hear from Miles Moore, who will be giving his speech on independence.
Independence is a fundamental part of life. As I've grown up these past few years, I've seen myself, my friends, and my peers all become more independent. Many people are scared, but it's how we grow and become our own people. Part of the reason I've been able to grow as a person and become more independent is because of Lakeland Montessori. Many things in this school have helped me, from intercession trips to daily work and Iron Chef. This school has been a necessary part of my growth. The number one thing that has helped me is the Camp Kateri intercession trips. While away on these trips, I learned what it was like to truly be independent. I learned how to cook not just for myself, but for others as well. I also learned what it was like to be away from home. All these factors, over the 4 times I've been to Camp Kateri, have shown me how it feels to be independent. I'm truly grateful for the opportunities at this school that have helped me grow. My sense of independence derives from these key experiences. Independence doesn't just come from experience. It also comes from people too. I'm talking about the people who help us be more independent. The whole point of independence is to be free and by yourself. I'm talking about the people who purposely step back to help us become more independent. Peers, friends, and family are all big parts of our lives, and the people who help us be independent by teaching us rather than doing things for us are amazing because they help us grow as individuals. Some main people I would like to point out are our teachers, mentors, and parents. These are people that really know when it's time to step back and let's grow, either at home, school, and other places. And yes, maybe sometimes we forget to thaw the chicken at Camp Kateri, but it's all part of the learning process of learning from mistakes and experiences. With the help of these people, independence has been able to translate into my daily life and give me confidence to try new things. Since these experiences, I've taught myself how to skateboard, play piano, and many other things, all because of the people in my life. Now, to the main point of this whole speech. So what does independence truly mean to us? Oxford Dictionary describes the word independent as the state of being free or independent. Personally, it's so much more than that. It is a fundamental part of life. Some would even argue that independence is life. Just think as if you never got to be independent. Without independence, we would not even have the very country we're in right now. Our very country is built on the fact that independence is needed, whether that be from Britain, people, or other things. It can be as simple as balancing on ice skates by yourself. It can be taking charge in group work without intervention from the teacher. It can even be internship and making calls to business by yourself. To conclude, independence is important in every aspect of life, health, and even relationships. Without independence, what would life be like? I'm very grateful over the last few years and even all my years at Lakeland Montessori that I've been able to grow and have positive experiences that have helped me be more independent. So, my fellow classmates, even if it's scary at first, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. And lastly, thank you to all of my teachers throughout the years, friends, family, and faculty. I've truly enjoyed my time here at LMS. Thank you.
Thank you, Miles. You truly are very independent. I myself am excited about the future of these amazing students. And I know that each and every one of them, not only the ones that gave a speech, have a great future ahead of them. Like climbing a mountain, people may climb faster, but they will all reach the top in the end. To the class of 2024, we will miss you dearly and wish you the best of luck in high school. Now our principal, Ms. Heather Monroe, will present each of our 8th graders with their medals. These medals are engraved with values or skills that were observed by our teachers, Mrs. Sines and Mrs. Adams. We would like to acknowledge our 8th graders for growing in these skills during their time at Lakeland Montessori.
Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. I always hate having to follow that because it is such a there's just so amazing, great speeches, and everything I say after that just seems to pale in comparison. Before I pass these out, I want to take a minute for a couple of acknowledgments. I want to acknowledge all of you guys. This is an amazing class. They're all amazing, but this one's particularly amazing. We have such a mix of students here, from being here since they were 3 to students who just started here this school year. And you would never know. They are such a great unit, and they're a role model for the upcoming 7th grade group. You guys got some big shoes to follow. I also want to acknowledge, if you were a teacher at Lakeland Montessori, past or present, would you mind just standing up for a minute? This is really cool. You heard some of them mentioned in some speeches. We have Mrs. Garcia and Mrs. Bonner back here, and Mrs. Martinez, Captain Martinez. These kids were their kids. And then we have Miss Krentz over here, who's parent and student. Mr. Adams, who also have a let over there. But we're so thankful to have them as part of our school, and you can tell the lasting memories that they have left on these children. And how cool is it that they're here tonight? It's so special. Okay, and then of course I want to acknowledge these 2 amazing women who just put everything into it every day for these kids. So thank you guys so much. To the medals. So as they said, the teachers think of each child, each student individually, and they come up with a life skill that they feel like really represents the student and their time at Lakeland Montessori. So when I call your name, you're going to come up and you're going to get your medal, but then you're going to stand there so that your parents can take a picture. So don't grab it. They're gonna put it on. All right, so let's get started. First we have Dario Alfonso, Creativity. Good? You can come back over here. I didn't give you a heads up on that. Then you're going to shake my hand. Okay. All right. Sabrina Afonso. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, it's nice. Collaboration. Collaboration. What's so excited? Okay, I got it. I got it now. All right. Next we have Wiley Daggett, Cooperation. All right, next we have Amin Omotar, Initiative. All right, next is Estelle Garcia, Curiosity. All right, next we have Natalia Henao, Enthusiasm. All right, next we have Kensley Keith, Perceptiveness. All right, next, McKenna McCavra, Resilience. All right, next we have Miles Moore, Independence. All right, next up, Samantha Moyer, Kindness. You're so proud down here. All right, next we have William Phillips, Empathy. All right, next, Aiden Pridgeon, Determination. Oh my goodness. next we have Kaylin Reeves, Perseverance. All right, next, Maya Shanks, Responsibility. But certainly never least, Palladius Stein. All the 8th graders stand up. And I would love it if we could have, let's see here. I just want to make sure you guys can get lots of pictures and see how cool they look up here. Can they go on? Yeah, we could maybe just go straight across. Yeah. Let's move this back. All right. Now, organize yourselves by date of birth. Just go up there in the front. Just make a line right across the front.
All right.
Wait, I'm totally doesn't matter. Yeah, just go straight across the front. Yeah, keep going all the way down. Keep going, keep going. There you go. Smile. Smile. Yeah. Get up in front. There you go. I love you, Sam. For coming, and lots of opportunities for some pictures out here, or there's some amazing places out around campus to get lots of great pictures. And thank you so much.